Yeah, some of the neighborhoods that we were around, and there were some people were there, some were coming back, some couldn't get in their neighborhoods, couldn't get to their homes. Some that I guess I don't know, maybe if some of them tried to hold out and stay there, they couldn't get out of their homes with their vehicles. Some of the streets were, just trees laying across everywhere. So they were all very appreciative, thankful. I don't know how many times locals came and offered us water and drinks and even deli sandwiches, and it went real. It was very smooth. I mean, everybody down there was very appreciative of us being there, working with Georgia Power and Pike, and I think everybody came together as a team. It really worked well, I thought, as far as I know it did. It feels good to help people anyway, especially when they're as appreciative as they were. I don't think we had one incident where somebody was, not happy to see us. It gives you a good feeling to be able to help somebody, and especially when a time like that, they're in a bad situation. Homes tore up, trees laying across their vehicles and houses, and I didn't enjoy that it happened to them, but I enjoyed being down there helping. Josh Wedge with Barry White out of Dublin, MEO title.
It was amazing to see it happen the way it did, because everything seemed to be going so smoothly. It was good to see the heroes out of Atlanta come down into our area, because you're always going to have people that's going to run out of gas or break down in situations like that. But just seeing the mass amount of cars that came through our area that evening and the next morning was just unreal. You can't imagine it unless you actually see it. We started on Tuesday preparing to implement the contraflow on I-16, and my main part of that was the layout of where each one of the cones and vertical panels went on I-16 in the preparation to install those. And then on Wednesday we actually put the equipment out there to start contraflow on I-16. And then on Thursday, before the storm hit, we implemented the contraflow a little bit before 12 o'clock. I want to say it was more like around 10 o'clock Thursday morning, contraflow was implemented. And then after we implemented it, my job was to go and check on the guys, because we had guys stationed at each exit from State Route 56 all the way through the contraflow. So I just kind of rode and checked on the guys, made sure everything was going well. One thing that I really noticed was Friday, actually it was late Thursday evening, both lanes were traveling westbound and they were beginning to back up. That was how many cars were coming out of Savannah. And it was a big deal getting the contraflow going. My name is Laura Grinstead Phillips, and I'm the permits inspector for the Dublin area office. They called me about 8 o'clock Saturday morning and asked me to come to Tennille, so I went to Tennille and I was assigned to a bridge inspector. So the bridge inspector and I made our way to Savannah, and we got into Savannah about 1 o'clock, but on the way down there we actually passed the cleanup crews. I know you talked to Josh and some of the other guys earlier. Well, they were a little bit ahead of us, but we went into Savannah ahead of them. Driving down there was almost like weaving through a maze. There were so many trees down on I-16, and where we normally drive 70 miles an hour out there, we were driving 45, because there were so many trees you couldn't drive fast. So when we got into Savannah, our job was to find, we were assigned 7 bridges to inspect. Well, when we got into Savannah, we couldn't just drive directly to the bridges. Of course, we were using GPS to go to the bridges. But you may go down a street that would take you straight to the bridge, but you couldn't get there because there were so many trees in the road. One of the things that was really amazed me was how the trees fell and where they fell, and one yard would just be covered in debris and the next yard would hardly have anything. But weaving through the aftermath of the storm was overwhelming, because I was the one doing the driving when we went down there. One thing that I saw when I got down there, in one particular bridge that we went to was on Eisenhower. People were driving across the bridge. We couldn't even inspect the bridge because we couldn't get to it, but there were people driving across it. So the public needs to know, in a situation like that, please do not drive across bridges that have water over them. But just overwhelmed is how I felt when I got there. What stands out to me the most was how all of the departments and even the power companies and contractors that work for power companies, how everybody worked together to clear the roads, to get the power back on. And it was like the whole state just became one community, one family. It didn't matter who you worked for. It was just all one group of caring people that went in and tried to put things back to order. And to me, that's what will always stand out. During the contraflow, we would have people that would actually put their windows down and wave at us and holler thank you when they were coming through on I-16, because obviously when they got to the end of contraflow they had to slow down, but they would be just hollering and saying thank you when they went by. And then once I got into Savannah, I didn't really get to interact with very many people, but when you're in a situation like that, it's hard to find accommodations, and the Department of Public Health allowed us to use their facilities when we got down there, and they were very thankful to see us when we came in, because they knew once we came in and cleared the bridges that the other crews could start coming into the area.
I'm Ezel London from the Lawrence County GDOT Assistant Foreman here in the Lawrence County area. Oh, it was a blessing for those people as far as the public interacting with us, waving, giving thanks to us for as being a part of helping them out in the occasion such as this type of storm.
Okay.
Well, it's the people that we went down there to help. I kind of enjoy going helping the people out. I see their faces when we get down there, you know, because they really was courteous to us. And, you know, thanked us well while we were down there. And it was just the expression on their face knowing we were going to help them. We were coming down there to help. I loved it. I left with a good feeling that knowing that they you know, we help, and we help clear the roadway. We help, you know, a better way of them traveling. I enjoyed it, and that was a good experience. Like I said, it's my first experience of it, and just to be a part of it, I just loved it. And if I had a chance to do it all over, I'd do it all over again. Brent Farley, EO1 at Georgia Department of Transportation in Madison, Georgia.
First off, the fun I had working with the State Patrol this time. You know, usually you would think State Patrol, they chasing you or something, but this time they were with us. They were working with us. And to be safe, because, you know, once we're always on the road. And every time we have them blue lights with us, we always feel safe. We know the public going to obey those blue lights. And just the gratitude from the people down there, helping them, seeing their faces. You know, we don't usually get that. We usually get, why aren't y'all working more? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? This time they were just asking us, being concerned what we need. Well, we was called in to Tennell, to our district headquarters. So we went down and we got with our group leaders, and then we got in our group, people that were going to be traveling together and working together. So then we gathered up at a technical school in Sanderville with our EMT, our law enforcement, and our forestry. And when we got with them, the first time I ever had the experience of being escorted by the police, State Patrol, from there all the way to Savannah. And we were escorted with our State Patrol, our ambulance, and our Forest Commission went with us. and we didn't have to stop in the red lights. We didn't have to stop in the stop signs. It was just once we started, we didn't stop till we got there. It felt good this time. Usually it's just DOT, but this time we had, like I said, all the other agencies together. This is my first time experiencing that. It really felt good. I got a good feeling about knowing I helped somebody. Usually we're doing a roadway, we're helping the public, but this time we really physically helped somebody, and we could see it. You can see the action they give of our help. So that's what I took away this time. Eric Taylor. I'm an assistant maintenance foreman area-wide, D2A5.
Yeah, we went down on a Thursday evening and stayed from that Friday all the way to Sunday evening. And we mostly did litter pickup and brush removal, cutting the trees and stuff up, clearing the roadways and everything. It makes you feel good when you see a need and you're able to help with it, and the people really accept the fact that you're down there to help them, and just everybody accepting and working together, and it feels good to be a part of a team that is willing to go down there and get the job done. My name is Matt Taylor, and I'm an EO1.
We all came together and worked as one big team down in Savannah, because I've never seen nothing like that, and I know the people down there are going to be going through that for some time to come. But the time that we were there, we all worked as one team. It was the local law enforcement, the fire department, Georgia Power, anybody that was there. I felt like we was one team, and it did me some good to know that we could come together like that. Even in a time of crisis, we could come together like that and help someone out. And I'm the area-wide foreman for area-wide in District 2. Like you said, I wasn't the first crew that went down, but as being the second crew that went down, we was in charge of cleaning up certain areas of the county, like in Savannah, in Byron County, Skidway Island. We had to go down and actually move trees that had fallen. The roads was open, but what we were doing was down moving trees to a landfill or a dump site and pushing stuff back off the state right-of-ways.
Actually went down there twice. We went the first time, went Saturday and Sunday, and Saturday night we stayed in Statesboro, and a lot of the people was coming up to us and shaking our hands and thanking us very much. And I know one gentleman, he was in tears because he couldn't, he had been in his house for like 4 or 5 days, and he was just glad to be able to get back to it. And the second time we went down there was Tuesday, and we went up into actual neighborhoods, and a lot of people coming out, giving us stuff to drink and, thanking us and showing their appreciation. I was on a conference call that Friday. We was told we were going to deploy that Saturday. The storm actually hit Saturday morning, and we met in 10 at 7 o'clock. And about 10 o'clock we deployed with the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, the Forestry Commission, and Georgia State Patrol. We started clearing roads from Dublin all the way to Savannah. Okay, my name is Kirby Blassingame. I'm a highway maintenance foreman, Baldwin County Routine Maintenance. I've been in the department 20 years. I just enjoy, being in a position where I can, help citizens of Georgia, in a time of need, everybody coming together as a team and working together and, getting the job done safely and got everybody back home safe, and not only made everyone shine, but made the department as a whole shine. Okay, once we got word that the storm was going to hit, we started preparing by, getting chainsaws ready, personal protective equipment for safety, everything that we thought we was going to need for a power outage, not being able to get showers or whatever, took toiletries, safety glasses, and got our equipment ready, make sure everything's in working order, and we just waited for word to go. We're working the other storms. I think this is the first one where we actually worked with other agencies, Department of Natural Resources, the Forestry Commission, Georgia State Patrol, and I think everything came together real well, and everybody worked together real well, and we got the roads open, and people were able to go check on their properties.
I think our biggest takeaway from keeping Georgia safe after the Hurricane Mathew event was just the realization that we can provide and we can do, and as a group we can restore our roadways to a normal driving condition, and just being able to produce that is a good feeling and very prideful for all of us. Some of the biggest impacts I noticed was the general public as they were out traveling the few days after the hurricane. They were really receptive to Department of Transportation being out on the roadways and doing a lot of cleaning, being very thorough what we were doing, and we were very happy with what they were able to see and all the productivity we were able to provide. A lasting impression as far as the storm was concerned was just the DOT family coming together, guys from District 6, guys from District 2, and just the camaraderie and the ability for us to get out and help the traveling public to open the roadways and to reestablish the lines of transportation throughout Southeast Georgia. After securing my family in a safe location, I returned to work on Friday, October the 7th, and briefed our maintenance crews, and we discussed our obligations during the course of the evening hours. We bedded down and waited for the storm to pass after we had prepared all of our equipment and got everything ready for the next morning. After the storm passed on Saturday morning, October the 8th, we went out to start doing damage assessment. We started removing debris from the roadway. We used crews from Claxton, Statesboro, Sylvania, and Springfield, and we were able to cut a path all the way to Savannah. I'm Ron Nelson. I'm the area manager, District 5, Statesboro area.